Your life will not change when the world becomes easier. Your life will change when you become harder to shake. You are here because you are tired of being controlled by reactions, impulses, and emotional storms that steal your power. This audiobook is a system, a blueprint to detach from chaos, think with clarity, and train your mind to operate with precision, not emotion. Today, you stop being ruled by what you feel, and you start becoming the one who decides what every emotion means. This is the art of absolute emotional control. You lose power the moment you react without thinking. And you've been doing it for years. Reacting to people, reacting to criticism, reacting to disrespect, reacting to every little thing that pulls your attention and disturbs your inner balance. This is where emotional control begins, right here with a truth most people avoid. You have trained your mind to overreact. Not intentionally, not consciously, but through habit, through repetition, through living in a world that rewards speed instead of clarity and noise instead of discipline. Today, that ends. Because emotional control does not begin with suppression. It begins with awareness. The awareness that every reaction is a choice. The awareness that your first impulse is rarely your strongest move. The awareness that your power leaks every time someone else's behavior dictates your internal state. You have a choice. You always have a choice. And this chapter exists to make you painfully, unmistakably aware of it. Most people live on autopilot. They lash out because they felt disrespected. They panic because something might go wrong. They argue because they want to prove a point. But emotional control is not about proving anything. It is about preserving your authority over your inner world. When you react instantly, you are not acting from strength. You are acting from conditioning, from fear, from insecurity, from old wounds that never healed. And those reactions do not solve your problems, they multiply them. Slow your reactions. Slow your mind. Slow your loss of power. Master this, and you will rule your inner world. Ignore it, and you will always be ruled by everyone else's noise. You have begun the journey. You have taken the first step. You have regained the authority that was always meant to be yours. You have stopped reacting. Now it is time to start understanding the truth behind your emotions. Next chapter. Your emotions are not facts.
Your emotions are loud. Your emotions are convincing. Your emotions feel urgent, intense, and real. But here is the truth few people ever learn. Your emotions are not facts. What you feel is not a command. It is a signal. And signals can be wrong. Signals can be distorted. Signals can be shaped by old pain, old trauma, old stories that no longer belong to your life. Most people obey their emotions as if they were laws. They treat every fear as danger, every sadness as defeat, every moment of doubt as a sign to stop. But emotional control begins with this one idea. You don't move because of how you feel. You move because of what's true. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can follow your feelings, or you can question them. And questioning your emotions is how you reclaim your authority. This is the key. Emotions do not define reality. They define your perception of reality. And your perception can be shaped, trained, strengthened, and rewritten. Think about stress. Stress feels like danger. The tension rises. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts race. Your mind says, something is wrong. Something bad is coming. Prepare to run. But most of the time, nothing is wrong. Nothing is chasing you. Nothing is attacking you. Your mind is replaying an outdated pattern. The disciplined individual responds differently. They don't see stress as danger. They see stress as information, a message, a signal that says, pay attention, adjust, focus tighter. They reinterpret the feeling. They translate the emotion into clarity instead of chaos. You don't need your emotions' permission to act. You don't need their approval to move forward. You don't need to feel ready before you take control of your life. What you feel is temporary. What you decide is permanent. Begin to notice the lies your emotions tell you. Fear says, you can't handle this. But your history says, you have handled worse. Anger says, react now. But discipline says, wait, think, choose. Doubt says, what if you fail? But logic says, failing and learning is better than freezing and staying the same. Do not obey your emotions. Define them. Name what you feel, but do not bow to it. Say, this is anxiety, not danger. Say, this is stress, not failure. Say, this is frustration, not collapse. Labeling separates you from the emotion, and separation gives you control. Most people collapse because they merge with their feelings. They say, I am angry, instead of, I am experiencing anger. They say, I am afraid, instead of, fear is showing up right now. The first statement traps you. The second statement frees you. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. The discipline to pause. The discipline to evaluate. The discipline to interpret emotions instead of obeying them. Start a simple practice. When a strong emotion appears, ask 3 questions. 1. What exactly am I feeling? 2. Why am I feeling it? 3. Is this emotion telling me the truth? These 3 questions create distance. They open space. They allow logic to enter. And logic is what stabilizes you when your emotions try to hijack your life. Do not obey your emotions. Define them. This is your new standard. This is your new identity. This is the mindset that separates the reactive from the resilient. You are no longer driven by what you feel. You are driven by what you choose. And that choice is what transforms you. You have learned that emotions are signals, not reality. Now it's time to learn how to create distance between the signal and your response.
There is a moment, small, quiet, almost invisible, between what happens to you and how you respond. That moment is where strength is built. That moment is where emotional control is forged. And that moment is where most people fail. They react instantly. They react impulsively. They react without thinking. And because they react, they lose control. They lose clarity. They lose their power before the situation even begins. But the strongest people operate differently. They are not emotionless. They are not numb. They are not detached from reality. They simply create distance. Distance between the trigger and the reaction. Distance between stimulus and response. Distance between impulse and decision.
This is the key. You do not become powerful by feeling less. You become powerful by responding better. You have a choice. Every time something triggers you, you have a choice. A choice to pause, a choice to breathe, a choice to wait before you act. That pause is your weapon. That pause is your strength. That pause is your freedom. You don't need their permission to pause. You don't need their approval to take a breath. You don't need anyone to validate the way you manage your reactions. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. The discipline to hold yourself back when your emotions try to take over. The discipline to interrupt the automatic patterns you've carried for years. The discipline to act from intention instead of impulse. Here is the practical truth. Your reactions follow patterns. Patterns built over years. Patterns built through repetition. Patterns built from moments where you felt threatened, judged, embarrassed, or overwhelmed. And those patterns don't disappear on their own. They must be interrupted. They must be challenged. They must be replaced. How do you interrupt them? With micro pauses. 3 silent seconds. Just 3. 3 seconds where you do nothing. 3 seconds where you breathe. 3 seconds where you stop the automatic impulse long enough to choose a better one. Step back. Step above. Step into control. These 3 seconds can save your relationships. They can save your career. They can save you from unnecessary conflict, unnecessary regret, unnecessary emotional chaos. They give you space to think, space to interpret, space to choose. Imagine someone insults you. You feel the surge of anger rise. Your body tenses. Your mind instantly prepares to react. But instead of responding, you pause. 3 seconds. Just 3. In those 3 seconds, everything changes. Your mind shifts from reaction to evaluation. You ask yourself, what response strengthens me? What response weakens me? And instantly, your discipline takes over. This is emotional maturity. This is mental strength. This is personal leadership. Step back. Step above. Step into control. The distance you build becomes the buffer that protects your decisions. It becomes the shield that guards your composure. It becomes the boundary that keeps you in charge of your life. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. The pause becomes natural. The distance becomes automatic. The reaction becomes a choice, not a reflex. You have a choice. You always have a choice. But choice only exists when you create space. Without space, you operate on autopilot. With space, you operate with intention. Start today. Start with the next trigger you feel. Don't try to suppress it. Don't pretend you're above it. Just create distance. Just pause. Just breathe. 3 seconds can change everything. You have built distance. You have created space. You have interrupted the cycle. Now it's time to take that calm and apply it to the external world, to detach from the noise, the opinions, and the judgments that try to pull you off your path. Next chapter. Detach from other people's opinions.
There is a prison most people never escape. A prison with no walls, no guards, no chains. Yet it controls their entire life. That prison is the opinion of other people. You move differently when you care too much about being liked. You speak differently when you fear being judged. You live differently when your decisions depend on someone else's approval. And the more you depend on validation, the more you shrink. The more you hesitate. The more you lose yourself. Emotional freedom begins the moment you stop being shaped by external validation. You must understand this if you want real control. Most of your stress comes from what you think others think, not from what they actually think. You fear being judged. You fear being misunderstood. You fear disappointing someone who doesn't even think about you half as much as you imagine. The mind exaggerates. It creates stories. It invents disapproval that doesn't exist. This is the key. Your life becomes heavy when you carry other people's expectations. Detach from noise. Detach from judgment. Detach from weak expectations. You don't need their permission to grow. You don't need their permission to change your path. You don't need their approval to become who you were always meant to be. Most conflicts you experience are not real conflicts. They come from your fear of disapproval. You avoid conversations because you fear the reaction. You stay silent because you fear being criticized. You agree with things you don't believe in because you fear being alone. But fear of disapproval is not the same as danger. It just feels like it. And when something feels threatening, your emotions rise. Your heart speeds up. Your mind scrambles. Your instinct is to react. But remember what you learned. Your emotions are not facts. You have a choice to care less, a choice to protect your energy, a choice to put your own growth above someone else's temporary comfort. Stop living for imaginary audiences. Stop performing for people who are not living your life. Stop trying to impress those who contribute nothing to your direction. People will always have opinions, but opinions are cheap. Opinions are inconsistent. Opinions are shaped by their insecurities, not your truth. And you cannot build a strong life on the unstable ground of what others might think. Detach from noise. Detach from judgment. Detach from weak expectations. Here is your behavioral shift. When someone criticizes you, pause before absorbing it. Ask yourself, does this person live the life I want? Does this person have the discipline I admire? Does this person understand my goals? If the answer is no, then their opinion carries no weight. You owe no one an explanation for protecting your peace. You owe no one a justification for choosing your path. You owe no one a performance to make them feel comfortable. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. The discipline to hold your focus. The discipline to maintain your identity. The discipline to keep your energy uncluttered by the noise around you. Because when you care less about their opinions, you gain more clarity about your own direction. You begin to hear your own voice. You begin to trust your inner judgment. You begin to live with purpose instead of fear. Detach from noise. Detach from judgment. Detach from weak expectations. You are not here to impress them. You are here to master yourself. And mastering yourself requires silence. Internal silence from the endless echoes of other people's opinions. You have broken the chains of external validation. Now it's time to remove the internal chaos that stops you from thinking clearly.
Your mind is a battlefield. Your thoughts are the soldiers. And every day, you choose which ones win. Most people don't understand this. They think thoughts just happen to them, as if their mind is a wild animal they can't train. But you're here for something different. You're here to reclaim control. Because when you control your thoughts, you control your emotions. And when you control your emotions, you control your actions. This is the chain. This is the key. This is where power begins. Your inner narrative becomes your emotional reality. If your internal voice whispers fear, you will feel fear. If it repeats doubt, you will shrink. If it feeds panic, you will collapse. This is the truth. Your thoughts shape your world long before your actions do. So you have a choice, a simple choice, a powerful choice. You can feed the mind panic, or you can feed it power. You can let your thoughts drag you into emotional chaos, or you can direct them with intention. You decide what you repeat. You decide what you reinforce.
and you decide what becomes your reality. Most people live in a loop of negative predictions. They imagine the worst. They rehearse failure in their minds long before it happens. They ask, what if something goes wrong? But you're going to shift that pattern. You're going to break that loop, because this is your new command. Replace what if something goes wrong with what if I handle it calmly and effectively. Feel the difference. One thought weakens you. The other strengthens you. One triggers fear. The other builds control. The thought is small, but the effect is massive. This is mental discipline. This is quiet strength. This is the foundation of emotional mastery. Understand this deeply. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. You are the one who directs them. You are the one who decides which ones stay and which ones leave. When a weak thought appears, don't entertain it. Don't negotiate with it. Don't fight it with fear. Just redirect. Just replace. Just take control. Say to yourself, direct your mind, direct your emotions, direct your life. Repeat it with conviction. Repeat it until it becomes instinct. Because repetition rewires you. Repetition builds identity. Repetition creates the mental armor you need. If you don't take command of your thoughts, they will take command of you. They will hijack your emotions. They will pull you into reactions you regret. They will destroy your focus, drain your energy, and steal your peace. But when you take command, quietly, consistently, relentlessly, your entire life changes. You stop being reactive. You stop being fragile. You stop being controlled by fear, insecurity, or uncertainty. You become solid. You become centered. You become intentional. This is the discipline you must practice every day. Observe, interrupt, replace, strengthen. These are the 4 steps of mental leadership, not emotional chaos, not uncontrolled spirals, not the panic you've carried for years. Strength, direction, clarity, discipline. And remember this, when you learn to direct your thoughts, you learn to direct your emotions. When you direct your emotions, you direct your actions. And when you direct your actions, you direct your entire life. This is why the mind must be trained. This is why discipline begins internally. This is why silence, control, and focus are not luxuries. They are necessities. You have taken back control of your inner voice. Now it's time to take control of how you express your strength to the world. Next chapter, emotional minimalism. Do more with less.
Most people live with emotional clutter. Too many reactions, too many worries, too many triggers. They carry every little irritation, every tiny inconvenience, every imagined scenario. They overload their mind until even small challenges feel unbearable. But that is not your path. Your path is simplicity. Your path is clarity. Your path is emotional minimalism. Because when you reduce unnecessary emotional reactions, you gain power. When you strip away excess noise, you gain control. And when you stop responding to everything, you finally start responding to what matters. This is the key. Do more with less. Feel more with intention, not impulse. React with discipline,
not weakness. Move with clarity, not chaos. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can drown in distractions, or you can rise above them. You can react to everything, or you can react to what deserves your energy. And truthfully, very little in your day deserves your energy. Most worries don't matter. Most opinions don't matter. Most triggers don't matter. People waste emotional strength on meaningless noise. But you are here to remove that noise. You are here to eliminate the unnecessary. You are here to simplify your inner world so you can strengthen your outer world. Emotional minimalism starts with your inputs. Your phone, your conversations, your environment, your routines. Every input is a possible trigger. Every distraction is a possible drain. If you want emotional strength, you must reduce emotional interruptions. Simplify your day. Fewer inputs, fewer triggers, more clarity. This is not about isolation. It's about intention. It's about reducing what weakens you so you can focus on what strengthens you. It's about stripping your emotional life down to its essentials. What matters, what builds you, what moves you forward. You don't need their permission to protect your peace. You don't need their approval to limit your exposure to chaos. You don't need their understanding to create a cleaner, quieter inner world. You only need discipline. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. Discipline to say no. Discipline to walk away. Discipline to stay silent when noise tries to pull you in. The more you minimize emotional clutter, the more powerful your presence becomes. Because strength is not loud. Strength is not reactive. Strength is not chaotic. Strength is controlled, measured, intentional. Emotional minimalism teaches you to reserve your reactions for situations that matter. Everything else is excess. Everything else is noise. Everything else is weakness. So start eliminating. Remove excess. Remove noise. Remove weakness. Remove the need to respond to every comment. Remove the urge to explain yourself constantly. Remove the habit of jumping into every conflict. Most conflicts are unnecessary. Most reactions are unnecessary. And most emotional storms are self-created. You can end them by simplifying your internal environment. When you stop feeding chaos, chaos dies. When you stop giving attention to meaningless triggers, they stop controlling you. When you decide that your energy is valuable, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. This is emotional minimalism. A clean mind, a quiet heart, a focused spirit. And with that clarity, you gain space. Space to think, space to act, space to grow, space to become the stronger, calmer version of yourself. This chapter has given you the foundation, a simplified emotional life, a quieter internal world, a stronger sense of control. Now that your emotional clutter is gone, it's time for the next step, building unshakable stability. Next chapter, the discipline of choosing logic over emotion.
Emotional control is not a talent. It is not something you are born with. It is a daily decision, a conscious choice, and it is the difference between those who lead their lives and those who are led by every passing impulse. Most people let emotion make their decisions. They wake up, and their choices are dictated by feelings, fear, anger, desire, impatience. They act on impulse. They speak without thinking. They react to every trigger. And they wonder why their lives feel chaotic. This is where discipline begins. You don't control emotion by ignoring it. You control emotion by choosing logic over instinct, by asking the questions that matter, by evaluating the situation before acting. You have a choice. Every time you are confronted with a challenge, a decision, or conflict, you have a choice. You can act from impulse, or you can act from intention. You can let the emotional storm dictate your action, or you can step above it. Ask yourself, what action strengthens me? Not, what do I feel like doing? Not, what will satisfy this momentary desire? Ask instead, what action strengthens me? This question rewires your focus. It grounds your energy. It shifts power from chaos to control. When anger rises, pause. When fear strikes, pause. When frustration overwhelms, pause. And in that pause, choose the action that builds strength. The action that reinforces your purpose. The action that moves you forward. Choose logic. Choose strength. Choose mastery. This is not theoretical. This is practical. In every decision you make, logic can be applied. Even when the situation feels overwhelming, even when emotions are loud, even when others expect you to react immediately. Most people collapse under pressure because they prioritize feelings over facts. They respond based on how they feel, not what is true. They speak before they analyze. They fight before they understand. They lose because they surrendered to impulse. You are not most people. You are someone who will train the mind to lead, not follow. Someone who will see emotions for what they are, data, not commands. Someone who will ask, does this choice strengthen me or weaken me? Logic is the tool. Discipline is the muscle. Emotion is the signal. Use them together, and you build an unbreakable mind. You don't need their permission to think clearly. You don't need their approval to remain calm. You don't need validation to act with wisdom. It's not about weakness, it's about discipline. Discipline to evaluate. Discipline to pause. Discipline to act strategically instead of emotionally. Every day, challenges will try to provoke you. Every day, people will test your control. Every day, situations will attempt to pull you into reactive behavior. But the disciplined mind is always one step ahead. It measures, it weighs, it chooses the action that strengthens it. Remember, emotion tells you what is happening. Logic tells you what to do about it. Emotion is raw energy. Logic is applied power. Emotion is fire. Logic is the hand that guides the flame. Choose logic. Choose strength. Choose mastery. You have trained your mind to pause. You have learned to evaluate before acting. You have chosen intention over impulse. Now, it's time to maintain stability in the chaos around you. Next chapter. Mastering calm under pressure.
Pressure is unavoidable. It comes without warning. It comes from work, from relationships, from life itself. And pressure does not care who you are or what you have accomplished. But here is the truth. Pressure reveals the weak. It exposes those who collapse. It shows who has trained their mind and who has not. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can let pressure control you, or you can control pressure. You can panic, or you can remain calm. You can lose your clarity, or you can sharpen it. This is the key. Calm under pressure is not a talent. It is a skill. A skill built through discipline. A skill reinforced every single day. a skill that separates ordinary people from the unbreakable. When stress rises, most people breathe shallowly. Their body tightens, their mind races, their emotions spike, and their reaction is chaos. But you are not most people. You are someone who chooses strategy over instinct, someone who chooses clarity over chaos, someone who chooses calm over collapse. Controlled breathing is your first tool. When anxiety or pressure rises, pause. Take a slow, deep breath. Hold it for a moment. Release it with control. Repeat. Even a single conscious breath interrupts the panic cycle. Even a single breath restores clarity. Even a single breath reminds your body and mind that you are in charge. Posture matters. Stand or sit upright, chest lifted, shoulders back. Your body communicates to your brain. It says, I am steady, I'm strong, I'm in control. Even if fear wants to rise, your body signals calm. The mind follows the body. Strength becomes physical as well as mental. Stay calm, stay sharp, stay undefeatable. You don't need their permission to hold your ground. You don't need their approval to remain composed. You don't need validation to maintain your equilibrium. It's not about weakness, it's about discipline. Discipline to slow your breathing. Discipline to control your posture. Discipline to interrupt the panic before it escalates. High-pressure moments are tests. Tests of focus. Tests of control. Tests of the mind's ability to lead the body. And every time you remain calm, you reinforce the skill. Every time you respond with composure, you train your system. Every time you refuse to let pressure dictate your actions, you strengthen your authority over yourself. Practice daily. Intentionally place yourself in small, controlled stress situations. Speak in front of a mirror. Challenge your mind with complex problems under time constraints. Train your body to remain steady while your mind works. This is not luxury. This is necessity. This is preparation for the moments that truly matter. Remember, pressure is temporary. Your response is permanent. When everyone else panics, you remain the anchor. When everyone else loses clarity, you become the guide. When everyone else reacts impulsively, you act intentionally. Stay calm. Stay sharp. Stay undefeatable. You have learned the tools: breath, posture, mental focus. You have learned the principle: discipline over instinct. You have learned the truth: pressure does not break the prepared mind. Now it's time to use that calm to shape your actions, to turn steadiness into power, to transform control into influence. Next chapter. Build an identity that emotions cannot shake.
Most people live without a solid sense of self. They define themselves through others, through approval, through validation, through circumstances they cannot control. This is why they crumble under pressure, why fear dictates their actions, why emotions pull them in every direction. Without a grounded identity, chaos controls everything. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can build an identity anchored in principles. You can build an identity anchored in discipline. You can build an identity anchored in strength. This is the key. When you know who you are, nothing outside can dictate your inner state. No insult, no setback, no fear, no failure. You remain composed. You remain clear. You remain unbroken. Identity-based discipline begins with clarity. Ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? What values guide me when chaos arises? What principles shape my actions even if they cost me approval? The answers form the foundation. The foundation forms your power. The power forms your unshakable self. Stand firm. Stand clear. Stand unbroken. Most people act based on circumstances. They adjust their character to suit the moment. They compromise integrity to avoid discomfort. They are reactive, not intentional. You will not be that person. You will act from identity, not impulse. You will act from principle, not approval. You will act from strength, not fear. When emotions rise, your identity keeps you steady. When others judge, your identity keeps you calm. When situations turn chaotic, your identity keeps you centered. You are no longer a leaf in the wind. You are a tree rooted in the earth. You are unshakable. You are composed. You are disciplined. You don't need their permission to stay true to yourself. You don't need validation to hold your ground. You don't need approval to remain consistent with your principles. It's not about weakness, it's about discipline. The discipline to define yourself. The discipline to act from your foundation. The discipline to ignore external chaos and remain aligned with your inner truth. Start small. Begin each day with a reminder. I am this person. I act with discipline. I remain unshaken. Repeat it until it becomes instinct. Anchor every decision in that identity. Test yourself in minor challenges to strengthen it. Then graduate to bigger tests. Every time you act from identity instead of impulse, you reinforce your unshakable self. Every time you hold your ground when chaos swirls around you, you reinforce your strength. Every time you respond with discipline instead of reaction, you build a shield that no emotion can penetrate. Stand firm. Stand clear. Stand unbroken. Your identity becomes your anchor. Your anchor becomes your power. Your power becomes your freedom. Because when emotions cannot shake you, no external force can. You have cultivated calm. You have mastered response. You have built a foundation stronger than fear. Now, with an unshakable identity, it is time to focus that power, to direct it intentionally, to harness it for consistent results, unstoppable progress, and a life defined by mastery, not chaos. Next chapter, Emotional Control as a Daily Ritual. Emotional control is not an event. It is not a single heroic act. It is not reserved for moments of crisis. It is a habit, a practice, a daily ritual. Most people wait for emergencies to show their strength. They think, I will stay calm when it really matters. But when it matters, untrained minds collapse. They react. They panic. They lose clarity. This is why consistency is the real secret. Control is built in quiet mornings. Control is built in small decisions. Control is built in unseen battles, the moments no one notices. These moments are your training ground. These moments define you. These moments determine whether you bend or break. You have a choice. Every day, every hour, every decision. You can let chaos dictate your reactions, or you can practice discipline. You can respond impulsively, or you can respond intentionally. You can surrender to emotion, or you can master it. This is the key. Emotional control is a daily ritual, not a one-time act. Every morning, every conversation, every trigger, every failure, every success. Create a daily emotional audit. Ask yourself, what triggered me today? Why did it trigger me? How could I respond with more power tomorrow? Write it down, reflect, learn, repeat. Most people ignore these moments. They move from one emotional incident to the next without analysis. They react into chaos. They let impulses become habits, and they wonder why they feel powerless. You will not be that person. You will take responsibility for your emotional life. You will track it. You will analyze it. You will refine it. Daily discipline, daily control, daily strength. Even small decisions matter. Choosing patience when someone annoys you. Choosing calm when things go wrong. Choosing silence when words would inflame. These small moments accumulate. They become muscle memory. They build unshakable control. You don't need anyone's permission to practice this. You don't need approval to pause and reflect. You don't need validation to hold your ground. It's not about weakness, it's about discipline. Discipline to be consistent. Discipline to observe yourself. Discipline to respond intentionally, again and again. Over time, this ritual transforms you. You notice triggers before they escalate. You respond before emotion dictates. You remain calm when others panic. You act with purpose when others react blindly. Consistency also builds resilience. Daily control teaches your mind that chaos is manageable. Daily practice teaches your emotions that they serve you, not the other way around. Daily discipline trains your soul that strength is habitual, not occasional. Every evening, reflect. What did I handle well? What can I improve tomorrow? This habit sharpens awareness. It reinforces discipline. It deepens control. Your life becomes intentional. Your responses become calculated. Your presence becomes steady. You no longer drift. You no longer bend to circumstance. You no longer react without thought. Daily discipline, daily control, daily strength. You are building more than control. You are building a life of mastery. You are building a mind that rules itself. You are building a presence no emotion, no chaos, no pressure can shake. This ritual is the foundation of everything you have learned. The skills, the identity, the calm, the focus. All of it is meaningless without daily practice. You have seen the truth. Now implement it. Now commit. Now act with discipline. Next chapter. Conclusion.
Emotional control is not a gift reserved for the few. It is a discipline earned by those who refuse to live at the mercy of their impulses. Today, you learn to slow your reactions, question your emotions, build distance from triggers, detach from opinions, and choose logic over chaos. You learned that calm is a weapon, clarity is leverage, and emotional stability is the foundation of a powerful life. If you apply these principles daily, if you commit to the small practices, the micro pauses, the disciplined thoughts, you will become someone who cannot be shaken, manipulated, or thrown off course. Take this system, apply it ruthlessly, and build yourself into the person who stays calm in storms and unbreakable under pressure. Now your task is clear. Start controlling your emotions before they control you.